Greeting, fellow worker. In the shadow of the tide, a new ant kingdom rises, adapted to both land and sea, claiming dominion over territories once thought untouchable. But their ambitions provoke our kingdom, the Raptor Ant Kingdom, fierce defenders of their realm. With survival at stake, the clash of two empires looms. Who will prevail in this battle of evolution and strategy?
Our story begins millions of years ago when a splinter colony of our own Raptor Ant Kingdom ventured out to escape overpopulation. Their queen led them to the uninhabited coastal regions of the fungal marsh, where their resilience and adaptability forged a new path. Fast forward millions of years, and this bold colony has transformed into a new species, Aquaformica salinaraptor, or the saltwater ants. The name reflects their remarkable evolution, aqua meaning water, formica, ant, and salinus raptor, the salty predator. These ants have embraced the unforgiving tidal zones, becoming masters of both land and sea. Our scouts have captured astonishing information about these coastal marvels, measuring 15 to 20 centimeters in length and weighing 350 to 550 grams. Their exoskeleton is hardened and coated with a waxy layer to repel water and prevent salt buildup. Their dark, metallic blue color shimmers in the sunlight, blending seamlessly with their aquatic environment. Shaped like paddles and covered with bristles, these legs allow for efficient swimming, even in strong currents. Front legs, equipped with sharp claws, perfect for grasping prey or anchoring to rocks and vegetation. High-placed spiracles with muscular valves close tightly when submerged, while air bubbles trapped under their abdomen allow them to stay underwater longer. Serrated and powerful, their jaws can pierce the tough shells of crustaceans. Short but incredibly sensitive, these detect even the faintest vibrations in water, helping them locate prey and avoid predators. Unlike our expansive colonies, saltwater ants have smaller, more specialized colonies suited to their harsh environment. They thrive in tidal zones, building nests near rocky shores and sandy coasts. These ants are masters of the tides. During low tide, workers scour tidal pools for stranded prey. As the water rises, they retreat to the shore, scavenging or climbing vegetation to avoid flooding. The saltwater ant kingdom employs teams with specific roles. Some workers forage on land, while others dive underwater, ensuring a balanced use of resources and avoiding overexploitation. Our scouts managed to infiltrate the saltwater ants' fortress, an architectural wonder of adaptation and resilience. Built from sand and gravel, the nest is coated with a waterproof resin to withstand the relentless tides. Above-water entrances serve as ventilation and emergency exits, while submerged ones allow access during low tide. These ingenious chambers trap air, keeping critical areas dry during floods and storms. Some rooms are designated for storing aquatic prey, while others remain permanently dry for eggs and larvae. This fortress, protected by the unpredictable tides, is nearly impervious to attack. It's a marvel of engineering, blending function with survival.
Our leaders are preparing for potential action to secure this coastal territory. The tides may shield them, but we are no strangers to adversity. Prepare yourselves, villagers, for a future where our resilience and unity will be tested. Together, we will rise to any challenge.
The battle began at the edge of the coastal forest. Our soldiers ambushed a foraging team of saltwater ant workers gathering nectar among the trees. The workers, though unarmed, managed to sound the alarm. The call to arms echoed across the shore, and soon the enemy forces were mobilizing. As our troops advanced toward the saltwater ant castle, their defenders sprang into action. These warriors were no ordinary ants. They were specialists, adapted to their watery world. With precision, they coated the ground near their entrances with a slippery, water-resistant secretion. Our soldiers struggled to find their footing, many slipping dangerously close to the water's edge. Meanwhile, saltwater workers fortified their entrances with mud, creating makeshift barricades to delay our forces. The castle loomed ahead, its defenses a daunting challenge. The clash at the castle's entrance was fierce. Saltwater ant soldiers unleashed their wave disruption tactic, a deadly maneuver that sent sprays of water into our ranks. The splash disoriented our troops, and some were swept into the tide. Scouts report that those who fell into the water faced a grim fate, either drowning or being skewered by the saltwater defenders' sharp mandibles. Our forces regrouped, determined to break through the mud barriers. After intense effort, they succeeded, breaching the castle's outer defenses. The venom in our soldiers' stingers proved lethal in close combat, but the saltwater ants had yet another surprise. Inside the entrance, the workers deployed their bubble defense wall, a layer of buoyant bubbles that disrupted our troops' balance and coordination. Our soldiers faltered, and in the chaos, saltwater warriors struck with swift precision. Realizing the tide was turning against us, our comrades sent out a pheromone signal for retreat. The order was clear: fall back and regroup. But retreating was no easy task. Saltwater ant forces launched a flanking attack from a submerged chamber exit. Emerging unexpectedly, they cut off our escape. In their panic, some of our soldiers slipped into the water, only to face the saltwater ants' float defense team. This team displayed a remarkable tactic, forming a floating circle, with lower layer soldiers maintaining stability while upper layer soldiers attacked. They moved swiftly, their coordination both intimidating and lethal. Any ant trying to swim to safety was quickly overwhelmed. Only a fraction of our soldiers made it back to the satellite outpost near the coast. Their antennae drooped, their bodies bore the scars of battle, but their spirits remained unbroken. The saltwater ants had proven to be formidable foes, their watery domain a battlefield we were unprepared for. It began with the arrival of heavy rain. The skies darkened, and droplets hammered against the earth, masking the approach of our enemies. The saltwater ants, masters of deception, emerged from the water disguised as algae, mud, and sand. Their appearance was so convincing that even our sharp-eyed guards were caught off guard. With swift and lethal precision, the saltwater soldiers launched their ambush. The defenders stationed at the castle's perimeter were overwhelmed, many falling before they could raise the alarm. The saltwater ants had turned the storm to their advantage, their aquatic adaptations allowing them to move effortlessly through the drenched terrain. The satellite castle, surrounded by water, became a perfect target. Saltwater ants attacked from every angle, their forces splitting into specialized teams. Some soldiers carried shells and debris, strategically sealing off the castle's emergency exits. Trapped inside, our warriors and workers faced a dire situation. Supplies could not be moved, reinforcements could not arrive, and escape routes were cut off. At the main entrance, the assault was relentless. Saltwater ant warriors, with their powerful forelimbs, smashed through our walls. These limbs, honed by generations of survival in harsh coastal conditions, tore apart chambers that had been carefully constructed by our workers. The destruction inside the castle was catastrophic. Chambers crumbled, crushing precious supplies, eggs, and larvae beneath the debris. Even the caretakers, those noble workers who tend to our young, were caught in the collapse. Imagine the despair as our soldiers fought valiantly to protect their home, only to be met with waves of attackers who seemed unstoppable. The saltwater ants moved with unity and precision, dismantling the defenses room by room. As the storm raged on, the saltwater ants claimed total victory. Their forces overran the castle, marking a decisive and devastating defeat for our colony. Our scouts report that they have now begun converting the site into a new city for their kingdom, strengthening their hold over the coast. As the rains poured heavily, flooding our surroundings, the saltwater ants struck with sudden ferocity. They advanced from all sides, using the waterlogged terrain to their advantage. Their float defense teams emerged from the rivers, breaking apart into swift individual units that charged toward the heart of our city. At the same time, another squad set up shell barricades, sealing off one of our emergency exits. But they underestimated us. Our engineers had crafted multiple hidden escape routes, unknown to our enemies, allowing our soldiers to outmaneuver their tactics. Our warriors quickly regrouped and launched counterattacks using their venom stingers, weapons deadly in one-on-one combat. They darted out from the castle, striking swiftly before retreating back inside. These hit-and-run tactics forced the saltwater soldiers to abandon their flooded positions and approach our fortress directly, where they were at a disadvantage. Meanwhile, a small ambush team stationed near the entrance sprang into action. They targeted the saltwater ants individually, dragging them away from their formation and dispatching them without drawing attention. The precision and coordination of our soldiers were unmatched. Through one of our hidden emergency exits, a flanking team emerged. They struck the saltwater ants from behind, injecting venom before disappearing back into the shadows. This strategy spread confusion and fear among the enemy ranks as they were picked off one by one. With their numbers dwindling, the saltwater ants became increasingly disorganized. Our warriors pressed the advantage, launching ambushes and guerrilla strikes. Even those who tried to flee were intercepted by our interception squads, ensuring no enemy escaped unscathed. As the last of the saltwater ants fell, our castle stood strong, and our colony remained unbroken. Today, we celebrate not just a victory, but the resilience and unity that define us as a colony. The attack began with precision. As the waves receded, we advanced from the shadows, avoiding any sound that might betray us. Our soldiers struck from both sides of the main gate, ambushing the unsuspecting guards with swift mandible strikes. The saltwater workers, caught off guard, scrambled to reinforce the gates with mud barriers. But it was too late. Our warriors launched a two-pronged attack, one group flanking from the opposite side. The battlefield was ours, far from the waterline, where the saltwater ants' advantage was nullified. As their soldiers emerged from the nest to fight, we met them head-on. This time, there were no waves to disrupt us. Their water-resistant secretion slowed us briefly, but our venom stingers proved superior. A single well-placed sting brought down each enemy in seconds. The gate's mud defenses crumbled under the relentless force of our mandibles. Our warriors surged forward, breaching the nest. Inside, chaos erupted. The clash inside the nest was fierce, but we fought with determination and strategy. This time, the saltwater ants' bubble defenses were absent. Their warriors, though fierce, were no match for our swift attacks and venomous strikes. Their numbers thinned as we pressed deeper into the nest. Defeated and disoriented, the remaining saltwater ants fled through their submerged chambers, retreating into the safety of the tides. Victory was ours. The coastal satellite nest was reclaimed, and our flag now stands tall once more. But this victory comes with a warning, my fellow ants. The saltwater ants are relentless. They will return when the tides rise again, bringing with them their brutal waterborne tactics. Shall we fortify our nest and prepare to withstand their inevitable onslaught? Or do we take the fight to their grand castle, the heart of their kingdom, and crush them once and for all? This is a decision we must make together. Share your thoughts, strategies, and ideas in the pheromone trails of our discussion chambers. This battle marks more than just a victory. It is the beginning of a new chapter for our colony. We have proven our adaptability and resilience. Now, we must take the next step. Our experiences in coastal warfare have prepared us for a greater journey. Imagine, my fellow ants, our colony not just surviving but thriving across the vast continents of Arthronia. The tides have shown us a path forward. With the skills we've gained here, we will become the first ant seafarers, spreading our influence and claiming new lands across oceans and coasts.
The war is not over, but our destiny awaits. Together, we will journey to the farthest corners of Arthronia and rise as its greatest empire. The tides may rise, but so shall we.